Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
He transports stuff.
He does. Mainly his feet.
Yeah.
He transports his feet into other human beings.
Into guys.
Lots and lots of goons.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
And we just watched The Transporter. Kickman.
Yeah. The bald kicksman.
I was wondering if you wouldn't mind transporting something for me. No questions asked. Why not?
Before we get started, big old thank you to Andrew McGuire.
Thank you.
Andrew is our Patreon producer who had us watch The Transporter, a movie that I'm surprised we never covered because it's The Transporter. I guess it's also like 30 years old at this point, so.
That's not quite that old.
Yeah, it feels that old.
It's 23 years old.
All right.
I think
Andrew.
this is 2002, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Andrew McGuire.
Thank you.
It's old enough that it looks old. You could tell it's shot on film, and you're like, man.
Yeah, and Jason Statham is like visibly younger than he is now.
For all you kids who don't know The Transporter, this is the movie that made Jason Statham an action star.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a Guy Ritchie actor.
Right. Like this was his Con Air, I suppose.
Yeah, I always think of him as like a Van Damme type because of the kicking mainly. Like,
yeah,
so
he's like low key a kicksman.
Yeah, and well, this is like literally the first action sequence, the first fight. I don't think he does anything but kick people.
He just kicks the shit out of people. It's mostly kicking. He gets the little bicycle pedals on later and just kicks the shit out of everyone.
This movie also,
and then he meets his match in the other kicksmen, and they have 3 kicksman fights.
Yeah,
3 laying on our backs in a narrow space kicksman fights.
Yeah, I also I believe this movie was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this movie when I saw it in theaters, I worked at the theater, 2002.
Oh, yeah,
we were getting Matrixes and stuff. This movie felt like a new chapter in action when it came out. It's weird because I'm like, it's not like revolutionary, but there was a tone to it that felt like kind of like pre-Crank, where it was like action movies could be a little more fun and a little weirder even, but it's not even that weird watching it. It just felt like
I know what you mean.
I remember going like, this is a new era of action. We are entering a new stage, which is funny again because I'm like, I don't know if that was actually true. Like, it's not like Jackie Chan wasn't doing his own fucking awesome fights before this, you know?
Yeah, but like there was a tone to this. Like there's like a little the gonzo-ness and gosh, I'm trying to find a way to articulate this. Like, because it also went in a kind of a bad direction where it was a lot of movies with the same kind of tone, except all of the action is digital effects.
Right.
Like the Tomb Raider movies, for example.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. This was like, I think it was more of a tone and a presentation, sort of like real frenetic camera movements, like a lot of techno.
Yes.
There's
the music is out of its mind.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Gosh, there's a certain color filter. There's a certain like tint to it. It's like this warm kind of sheen. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on it, but you're right. This was like part of kind of the new way of action, sort of transitioning from like the Michael Bay-ness of the late 90s.
Yeah, because plot-wise, it's no different than like a fucking 80s movie.
No.
Like, it's pretty standard.
Yeah.
I think also Jason Statham himself, because I had already loved Snatch.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really cool seeing him, like, become a star. It's weird to say that, but, like, because now it's just like it's Jason Statham. But, like, I remember watching this and going like, "Oh, good for Jason Statham. He's making it. He's like becoming like a star, an action star."
Yeah, I do remember kind of having a similar feeling, but it was also, like I mentioned, it was sort of his Con Air, because I had a similar feeling initially when I saw the previews for this movie as I did when I first saw the previews for Con Air, where it was like, what? Like, because to me, he's Turkish at this point. He's just Turkish from Snatch. And I'm like,
right,
action guy. He was such a Guy Ritchie character to me.
I'll say in Lock, Stock, there's a scene where they're partying and he does a backflip, and that's the first like red flag that he's an action guy.
Oh yeah,
where he's like, oh, he can do a backflip. That's weird.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's clear that like he had been like already trying for this. Like he was already like a athletic guy who probably was taking fucking karate classes or whatever,
spin kick class.
Yeah, like it's clear that he was setting himself up for this. But it was because watching Lock, Stock, and Snatch, you kind of see him as more as like a scamp who's not like a badass.
Well, he's a little bit badass, but not like in a kicking, punching sort of way. He's like he's like kind of like street hard in Snatch.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's just funny watching Snatch and he's not the bare knuckle boxer.
He's not beating anyone up.
Exactly. He's the guy watching the bare knuckle boxer and being like, look how badass this guy is. And that's so silly. But yeah, that was the Statham we knew versus the Statham we have now. But like, so looking back on this movie, because I hadn't watched this movie in a while, the action's great still.
Honestly, yeah, I was genuinely surprised that, because I hadn't seen this movie in a long time too, and I was surprised that the action held up as much as it did. Like it really felt, it felt modern to a degree.
Some of the effects, like when he skydives, I was like, that's not, he's not skydiving.
I meant like the choreography, the actual fighting felt modern.
I agree. It's very dated at the same time.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So like if people like, it's very like, again, the music, the parts where there's like, I guess let's just go through the plot, because I also have a hot take on this movie. My cracked style hot take on this movie is that he is a terrible transporter. Watching it now as an adult, this movie is unironically The Killer. If people haven't seen The Killer, that's the fucking David Fincher film where the guy's acting like he's really in control and he's a dipshit. And like
he's a fucking clown.
Yeah. The opening of this film is the worst bank robbers. They did a TaskRabbit driver, basically.
Essentially.
Like the idea is Jason Statham is a driver for hire.
Yeah.
And there's like four of them, and I'm like,
he's the best.
Right. And even like even one of the robbers goes like, I'll drive, fuck it. And it's like, yeah, why didn't you drive? You terrible bank robbers.
Because they wanted to do it right, Dave.
I think they're like Nepo baby robbers, where like they're one of their rich dads was like, I'll hire you a driver. Like, because it's like, it's just like, why? I don't know. And so like they rob a bank.
Dad's helping him get started on his bank robbing career.
They rob a bank, they get in the car, and Jason Statham is like, there's four of you. It was supposed to be three. And they're like, who the fuck cares? And I'm also like...
It's some real reacher bullshit.
Yeah, and I'm like, who cares too? Aren't you a good driver? Just go.
Yeah, just go.
And he's like, the weight is wrong.
That wasn't the deal. It's too much weight.
Yeah, he's like, the deal was this many kilos, and now it's this many, and now I won't have enough gas to get us there. And I'm like, why did you put exactly, what are you, a fucking commercial flight?
I was about to say,
what is this?
Fucking trying to say, yeah.
Just put it on F.
United Airlines? What are we doing, man? Fill it up.
Just put it on F.
It's 2002. It'll cost you like $15.
Yeah.
Well, no, it'll cost you a little bit more than that in 2002, but...
Right, and they're like, fuck you, man, we'll just shoot you. And he's like, I have a special code
Special
for my
secret
car.
code to turn it on.
And so they're
what
trying
they
to
do is
present
shoot him in the kneecap and say,
exactly.
put the code in.
They're trying to present him as this guy who's playing 4D chess, right? Who's like amazing brain.
He's meticulous. He's meticulous about his rules, and that's what makes him a success. That's what makes him the best, Dave.
But it's so weird that he's working for these fucking Kmart, like heist guys,
right? Like these clown ass homicidal, just grungy, awful bank robbers,
right? And so it's
he's supposed to be like high class criminal,
right? He should be doing a diamond heist, you know? Like, what is this? And that's like the first red flag that, like, oh, maybe he's just like you ever work with a guy who like when you I worked at Cinemark with like a guy who takes his job way too seriously and like treats it like he's a cop or something, and it's like, you're a movie theater usher. Like, I'm sorry, I got that vibe off of him this time where I'm like, oh, I don't think he actually is like, he's like wearing a suit and stuff, and I'm like,
right,
I don't think he actually is like suit worthy,
right?
In his
right. There's a guy at karaoke that I used to see all the time, and he'd get up and wear a suit, so we all thought he was kind of like put together. And then he's an older guy, like he was probably 50, maybe late 40s. And then one time we all went back to my friend's house, and he came. And it was at that point that we all realized he's just a guy in a suit.
Right, he's just a freak.
He's just a fucking freak.
He's just the American
followed
kid.
all of us like 24-year-olds.
Yeah.
Back to my friend's house.
Yep. Oh, that's great. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And so, like, I don't know, Staithm in this, he's like, I have rules, you have to follow them. But then again, it's like, just fucking handle the deviation. So they end up shooting one of the guys, which leaves behind so much evidence.
Yeah.
The robbers are terrible.
They are.
And then they do this chase, and like, he wouldn't have to.
I mean, not that it matters because they do this all the time in these kinds of movies, but it's like, dude, you just added like a life sentence just by shooting this guy. And, also, and like, then, your bullets in there, like all the there's like so much evidence on this guy, like fibers from the car. Like,
this is such a bad crime, and I know they're trying to show that the bank robbers don't have their shit together, but Staithm does. But they have to like really make the bank robbers really sloppy, and then you realize like Statham's there with them.
Why is he working?
Like, if he had his shit together, he wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
And then he does this car chase, and they do the thing where the bank robbers are like, whoa, he's so good. And I just have to note that they chase wouldn't have existed if Staithm had just driven away and not had a 5-minute conversation with them.
Yeah.
And then he only gets away because he gets trapped on a bridge by the cops who could shoot out his tires, who never do. And then a tow truck drives under them, and he jumps on the tow truck miraculously. So it was like, you're not good here, you lucked out, you got an out,
right? Because tow trucks don't have a route, like he couldn't have planned that ahead of time.
Right. And then
unless he's driving it with remote control,
right? Then to show how he's slick, they do the drop off, and he presses a button and his license plate swaps, and then he drives his car home.
Yep.
Where he just
parks it in the garage. Yeah.
Right. And it was like, wait, that's not your work vehicle? That is just your car.
It's your personal vehicle.
Your car for your many, many car crimes. Because he keeps doing, we show that he's like, okay, and then he's going to do this other crime, and then he's going to do this other. Like, he's a transporter. That's what he does. And it's like, you don't have a work car for that?
Right.
Buddy?
It's like, it's like he learned how to be a criminal from playing GTA.
Yeah.
Like, now all I have to do is change the license plate. They can't possibly find me.
Right. And it's like, how many crimes are you going to do with your, like, 3 license plate swaps? I guess you could change it every now and then, but it's the same car every fucking time, man. Eventually someone's going to figure that out of like, yeah, it's probably you because you're not wearing a mask. He is also completely just him, Jason Statham,
Yep.
no ski mask, doing the crimes. The cops all see his face.
Yeah. He's
In
on
his
so
car.
many security cameras in this bank robbery.
Right, and
Like,
what
and
I
he's
have to
acting
point out,
like he's such the coolest badass.
yeah, and it wouldn't if it was like the rules of the world, well, he doesn't get caught. I have to point out he's immediately caught, more or less, because immediately the local cop comes and goes, "Hey, your car was used in a robbery."
Yeah.
And they're like, and he's like, there's a lot of cars like this. But it's so clear that the cop, it feels like a Truman Show sitch, or like the cop is feels bad for him. Because
Right,
the
or
cop
like
never not suspects
The
him.
cop is like his grandpa or something.
Yes. Because the cop lets him get away with way too much in
Well,
this.
later on in the movie, he literally says to him, he's like, just give me anything. Give
Yeah.
me any kind of lie that I can possibly sell because I know you're out here transporting.
Right. It's so weird that the cop is on his side because
He's so fucking cool, Dave.
Yeah. Well, because the thing that the cop comes back for is that his car is later found exploded with 2 policemen in it. And
Yep.
so he's a cop killer. As far
A
as this
cop
cop knows.
exploder.
Yes. And he's still like, I love you, man.
It never comes up
Like,
again.
Yes.
Those 2 exploded police officers are never mentioned again.
Yes.
They were transported the fuck out of the movie.
He's so bad.
He's really bad at it. Because, the premise of the film is he gets a package that is very clearly a person in a duffel bag, and he immediately breaks all of his rules.
Right, which is supposed to be that cute idea where it's like he's got
the
rules.
one time I break the rules.
In a way, it is supposed to be a little like the killer in the idea of look at this really buttoned up guy, and then he makes a mistake.
Exactly.
But the problem is that all the things to show that he's really good, he's not good at.
Right,
either.
they were really undercooked in
Before we,
the concept stage.
I'm looking at my notes, so I forgot. Before we get too far, that car chase ends. Did you catch the line where the French cops are chasing him, and then he gets away, and the cops spin out, and when the cops gets out, he throws his hat on the ground, and he says, "I'm fed up with this car chase," which I just thought was one of the funniest lines. That it's implying that the cop's I don't want to do this anymore.
He just stopped. He's just quitting.
Yeah.
Statham didn't get away. They're just I don't want to do this anymore.
Did you also catch that the news report he's watching specifically notes how the getaway the bank robbers are bad drivers?
Right,
and that's
it's
why
the
they
bank
got
robbers
caught?
would have gotten away had they hired a really cool driver with a lot of rules and a bald head and a necktie.
It's all to say that I love this movie, but
It's an incredible
I realize
film.
now this movie is incredibly dumb too.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a Luc Besson joint, right? He wrote it or
He
produced
wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you can tell.
Yeah. He wrote a
It's-
lot of these at the time.
Yeah, it's very Seagal dumb. I realize, watching it as an adult, I'm when I this is it's very silly.
There's one major difference, and it's that Statham actually loses fights.
Yes, he's good.
And he's good. Yeah, he can actually do this stuff.
But you could have made this a Seagal.
This
movie.
is a Seagal premise for sure.
Yes. Yeah, because he's transporting a sex prize.
Boy, he is transporting the filmmaker's embarrassing fetish.
Yeah, I watched this with Hannah, and it was just Hannah. It was just I think we're watching a fetish.
We
and
are.
It's we are.
It's this waifish Japanese girl Japanese woman, who spends most of the film soaking wet. And you can't tell whether she's 19.
Yes.
It seemed
There's the vibe of this feels like it's borderline illegal.
right. She seems so much younger than Statham.
Yeah.
It's
and she is
to the degree that I hadn't seen this in such a long time that I couldn't remember if they did the sex prize thing. So I was like, well, surely he's not going to have sex with her. She's way too... Oh.
Oh,
Yep, there they go.
Yeah, because you're just like, fuck, man. It honestly, like, if there wasn't the sex, it would be like, okay, she's like a flaky teen. That would have actually been a better idea.
Yeah. That's why I thought there was going at first.
Right. Because she has the ability the same ability to forgive as like a golden retriever, like the same memory where like he's just a shit to her. And she's just like, hey, how's it going? I'm fine with you. You're great. And it's like he's not great. The first thing that happens is he opens the bag and they do like sex music as he cuts the duct tape on her mouth and forces her to drink an orange juice. And then he makes her a piss noose.
Dave.
Yeah. Yes.
We are watching the director's fetish.
Yeah. He makes her a piss noose and then she gets away. And then he like lifts her up like a child and then puts her back in the trunk and he's like, that's the last time you're pissing.
She's also dressed like a schoolgirl.
Yes.
She is dressed like a teenager.
Yes, she is. It's all very
it's really embarrassing.
Yeah, it's the plot of a teenager's notebook that you'd find. It's really like it's real bad. And then he delivers her to just a human snake.
This guy, he looked like Joshua Johnson. Man.
Yes.
He looks like bizarro Joshua Jackson is what I'm trying to say.
He's been in a bunch of things.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go. He's been in a few things.
I know. I've seen this guy's lizard face. He's got perfect lizard face, and he knows it too. He's making a career out of it, and I appreciate that. I respect this man.
He knows exactly what.
Oh yeah, he knows what he looks like. He knows he looks like a human pinky ring.
Yeah, he was in 2 Blades.
Which one was that?
It looks like he was playing 2 different characters. He played Kreese in Blade 1 and then Chupa in Blade 2. And I don't know who those people are, but I can picture them.
Definitely vampires that Blade chops in half.
No way he's not a vampire.
Yeah.
And so he's just like,
I'm not sure he's not a vampire in this movie.
Yes. And he's just oozing through every shot.
He really is. He's such a lizard.
Right. And then he's like, did you look in the package? And again, it's so obvious that he looked in the package because he cut her fucking...
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I thought of that later. It's like, well, obviously he did because he cut a hole in the tape.
And again, he's such a fuck up because it's like replace the tape or something.
Right.
Or put the straw under it. Don't cut the tape.
Or just take it off and give her the straw and then cover the...
Yeah.
Like, what? Like he's so dumbfounded. Like, why'd you try to kill me? And the guy's like, this is one time where I was on the lizard's side. He just looks at him. He says, because you opened the package and I told you not to.
Exactly.
I can't be more straightforward than that.
Right. And frankly, you're really obvious. And like, you don't wear a mask and you use your car from home. Yeah. It's bad. So yeah, he blows up his car. And out of pure luck,
a terrific sequence.
Yeah, after Jason Statham has beat up 2 cops who walked in on his kid, those cops will be able to identify him, and it's implied that Statham's going to let them live if they didn't explode.
I was about to say, Dave, they will not identify.
Yes, but it's implied that Statham was going to let them live because he goes to get them orange juice. They're showing this, but again, it's like you're doing a bad job. You're doing a very bad job, Jason Statham. Like
he's right.
2 cops.
He's so like about like, I never break my rules, and all we see him do is break rules. And like we said, we know the premise is supposed to be that this is the idea is he's this button-up dude who breaks his rule, and then that's his one mistake. And anyway,
right.
But this just seems like. The fact that he's like just continuously breaking his rules back to back just makes it seem like he does this all the time.
Right. And he's so messy in general. When you realize like he kind of shits where he eats, like he's not traveling far. He's in France doing crimes in France, driving his car and then driving that car straight to his house.
Back to his house, right, directly from the crime.
Yes. So it's like,
what are you
of
doing?
Course, like he gets surprised that they like find his house later, and it's like, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't everybody?
The French cop found your house. He can't, like, no kidding. He pulls his car to the garage, and the French cop shows up like 20 seconds later.
Yeah,
it's like,
it really feels
not transporting again, are you?
Yes.
I think perhaps you might be transporting again.
He might be new. Like, that's what it feels like, is that Statham might, like, we might have seen the first job he did, and he's just acting like he's been doing it for years.
They really harp on, like, his military backstory. Particularly later when the lady whose name is Lie, genuinely Lie, which is funny because the character tells many lies. The character is very deceptive.
Lies. Yes.
But she literally finds a box full of his backstory.
Yes, she does. It's great.
All of his soldier pictures tumble out.
Yeah, so like...
I gotta say, it's efficient exposition.
It is. His car explodes. He runs all the way back to kick the shit out of everybody.
He fucking does, and it's awesome.
Yep.
He just sprints and kicks through the door.
All right. Can't stress enough how he barely uses his hands.
Yeah.
It's almost all kicking. He kicks the door open.
It's a Tony Jaa entrance.
Yeah. And then somehow
he kicks the door
guys,
off of its hinges into the man behind it.
Yes. It's so good.
Incredible.
The action is
the
top
action's
tier.
really cool, yeah.
Yeah. Lai somehow gets away and gets into a car and closes the door completely bound. I'm not sure how that happened. Did the snake put her in there? That's
no, she hid in there.
Yeah.
But it does seem like she just ripped a hole in the fabric of time and tumbled out into the backseat of that car, though, because it doesn't seem like she should have been able to get there ahead of Statham.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a transporter.
He finds her, abandons her in the road, and the sexy music plays again. I just have to note that as he almost backs her over. And like when he's doing that really cool thing where he's driving really fast at her and then stops. Mm-hmm. And after everything I've seen, I was like, I don't trust him to pull that off. Because again, he's not
right. He's bad at being the transporter. I had exactly enough gas.
Yeah.
To not run this lady over with my car.
Yeah, he's gonna brain her with the fucking bumper.
Yeah. But yeah, at this point she's tied to a chair. Like she's in the car bound to a chair. Like like Chained Heat 3 style bound to a chair.
Right. And
like this movie is showing its ass.
It really is, because the music keeps being sexy.
Yeah.
And he takes her, puts her in the trunk, brings her to her home, his home, and at that point she must be thinking, he's going to kill me. Mm-hmm. I've seen his face.
At least.
He's going to chop my body up in his bathtub.
He's going to kill me at least.
And they're trying to make it like this funny, sexy thing.
Yeah, and it's not.
Yeah, and then he makes her ramen, which I thought was a little racist.
A little bit. It's like he's treating it like dog food.
Right. He's like, what do you eat?
What do you give a dog? You give a dog food.
Right, exactly.
What do you give a Japanese person? Japanese food.
It really does feel like that. It's just like, dude. And then this is where the movie calms down. And I think this is the Snatch style, like where it was trying to be more cutesy.
Yeah.
And it's just like it didn't really earn it up to this point, because she should be terrified. And what he does is he just goes, I'm going to bed. And she's like, what do I do? And he's like, do whatever you want. And
she says, can I leave? And he says, yep, feel free.
Right. What he should be asking himself is, she could also rob me. I don't know why she was tied up. She could kill me. Like, he's very bad at his job, where it's like, she could call the police. She could, like, don't.
In fact, she should.
Yes. Instead, she turns into a manic pixie dream girl, basically.
He probably doesn't have a phone.
Yeah, I doubt it. But it's stuff where it's like, it's playful, but then you step back and you're like, well, everybody's stupid.
Right.
Because she doesn't leave. She starts going through his shit, and then makes him breakfast. And I'm like, nobody earned this. And then the cop shows up and she should go, help. Oh my God, help me. And she covers for him.
Yes.
And then I want to note that the cop comes to him because he goes, your car exploded and we have your license plate. And I realized in that moment that after his car exploded, Staithm didn't...
His stupid fake license plate. Yes. His stupid spinning license plate fucking got launched through someone else's windshield.
Yes. But it occurred to me that Staithm, after his car exploded, didn't think to himself, I should probably try to find the license plate. I should probably do something to cover this up. He just started running. And at this point, the detective must assume he killed 2 cops.
Yes.
He's a cop killer.
And this is basically where he says, come downtown and please give me a better lie. You're so awesome. I don't want to arrest you. You're far too awesome.
I think the sequels they give them more relationship, and maybe that's like an implied background between them.
I'm telling you, he's like his uncle or something.
He must be. And then his house explodes.
And his house gets shot up and explodes.
Minutes after the cop leaves.
Right. I have written down, if you don't know what to do, have 2 guys walk into the room with guns. Because that's literally what happens.
Yes.
Like there's a beat after the cop leaves, and then a team of machine gun henchmen show up.
Right. And then
oh, what a great movie.
He also blames her for his life falling apart. He says everything she touched broke about her. And I was like, you're the one making all the mistakes.
He's making all the decisions.
Kidnapped.
He's making all the decisions. She has not made a single decision here. It's all been him.
Yeah. He's just been driving to his house with the car he uses for the crimes. He started the fight with the guy. Mm-hmm. Like later in the movie, he goes like, "I'm walking away." Like he's the professional again. Right. And it's like you should have done that when they blew up your car. You made
this mess.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? And like later on, especially when he's like, "They think you're dead. You should use that to your advantage." Like, well, why didn't you?
Exactly. And he keeps talking down to her of like she's the problem.
And it's like she has not made a single one of these decisions. You are making all of them.
Yes, you're bad at this. Yeah. And you're blaming her.
Yep.
They scuba to some soft jazz.
They sure do. I did want to call out though, like right before they dive into scuba away, like Staithm gets his back blown off. Like I love how this was really common at this time. I love how movies think you can take a little bit of fire.
Yes, I love that too.
Because you absolutely can't.
You see, no, what he's been doing is he's been consuming a little bit of fire for years now, so that he's grown an immunity to it.
He was raised by fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they scuba and they go into somebody's house. They don't know when that person's going to come back.
Right.
And then she essentially says, "Here's your sex reward."
Yes.
The line is literally like, he's like, "What are you doing?"
I owe you, yeah.
Yeah, and she says, like, "We're paying you for your troubles."
Yep.
And it's like, he caused all the troubles. You were kidnapped. He then re-kidnapped you. And then his house blew up because he started a fucking grudge with a criminal.
The lizard man who kidnapped you.
Yes, you owe him nothing.
She is trying to honeypot him, right?
Yes,
she wants his help.
What we do learn, is that he's falling for her. She's grifting.
Yeah, except later. Oh my fucking God! Remember later when like the jig is up and he like knows she's basically her family. Well, her dad is Lao Che from Temple of Doom. And he is super into human trafficking. Him and the human lizard.
He loves it.
They love it so goddamn much. And there's
to the point. Yeah. Oh, sorry. No, you finish.
There's a shipping container full of 400 people, including her sisters, and she wants to get. And Lizard Man is the only person who knows which container it is. So that's what her deal is, and that's why she's trying to honeypot him.
Yeah, she's grifting him into doing a good thing.
Right.
Like it's
But what she says later is like, Staithm basically says, so it was all just a lie. And he doesn't actually say that, but anyway, I just wanted to point out how stupid it is. And then Lie says basically like, no, what happened between us in that house was real.
Yeah.
It's like the sex? The sex was real?
The sex reward was real. Yeah, no shit.
Like what?
There was penetration. I was there.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that means either.
Incredible.
And then she starts swinging the gun around.
That was real.
I love that scene because it also shows how bad he is.
Cheeks?
Yeah. That scene's great because it shows how bad he is because they're like, we're going to break into this office and get the information. And then I swear to God, like 3 minutes flat, he's knocked out on the floor being arrested.
Yep.
And being dragged out. And it's like, well, that didn't go well, huh?
Well, he got himself transported out of there, didn't he? So
yeah. I just want to note the bad guy loves human trafficking so much. And this is a classic cliche, but I love it, that he's right there with the traffickers. I think it's so funny when like he's like the rich benefactor and he's like in the trafficking truck at the end. Right. And it's like, you don't have to be there.
You know, he's just being photographed with the traffickers.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a reason these guys are never
right.
the ones that get arrested.
Right. It's very funny how dedicated they are to the human trafficking.
Loves it, so he's real hands-on with his human trafficking operation.
He's the undercover boss that day.
It would
That's
be
what
right.
it was.
It would be like if Al Capone went on every protection shakedown.
Right. It's like, what are you doing there, guy?
You don't need to be this hands-on, man. You can delegate.
So
you
yeah,
want to
she
create
tells him,
some distance between you and the fucking Geico gecko here.
Yeah. So they tell him, yeah, she's like, there's going to be a bunch of slaves coming through. He's like, you're trying to manipulate me into doing a good thing.
Uh-huh.
And at this point, also, I just have to note, there's no reason they can't go to the police about this. In fact,
his
police,
French detective friend fucking loves him. He's covering up 2 dead cops for him.
Right. He's like, just give me something. And it's like, why isn't he? No one's being held, like, no one's, it doesn't.
Oh, they do.
There's no like no cops hostage situation. It's like, no, just tell the cops.
They do, but in this weird, obtuse way, just to give themselves enough time to go beat the shit out of them. Like, remember they do like they pull up Lizard Man on his Interpol computer, but they leave that page on so that when he comes back to his computer, he sees who they're after.
Yeah, and he's like, thank you. But yeah, they go to his. I just love. They also go to his office. And they kidnap Lizard Guy, and I just have to note like how unnecessary that is because they kidnap him, and then she just goes through the files and goes, "I can't find it," and he's like, "Yeah, where is it?" And it's like, just come here at night, I guess, and like go through the files at night. I don't know. This is weird.
This is where the guys come in and beat the shit out of him.
Yeah,
like
and he
it
ends
goes
up
so wrong.
Yeah,
it's weird to be on the human trafficker side in this scene, but it was kind of like. Dude, what are you doing, man? What do you think was going to happen? Like, this is when he gives us, like, why'd you try to kill me? Because you fucking looked in the package, man. Like, what?
Yeah, exactly. I thought we were all criminals.
Right,
here.
I was about to say, you know what business we're in, right? We're all criminals.
Right. This movie opened with you watching a man and causing a man to get shot in the face.
Yeah, you egged on a homicide.
Yeah. And so then he gets arrested. And again, this is how bad he is at his job. The cop just goes, I'll let you go. Mm-hmm. Like, that's essentially the cop's like, yeah, you can take me hostage. The guy that I think might be a cop killer. Again, can't stress enough, we found 2 dead cops in your car.
Oh, he doesn't want to think.
And I'm going to let you go.
He wants anything but to think it. He's searching for any excuse not to blame Jason Statham for killing those cops because he loves him so much.
And what he's letting Jason Statham out to go do is kill more people.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're criminals, but it's still murders.
Well,
like
his hands are bound by law.
Yeah, that's fair.
Statham can go effect extrajudicial killings with his Kicksman power.
I also want to note that this is when, so he goes to like the human trafficking, the dock and stuff, and there is a moment where the bad guy says, like, I want him alive. And I guess my question is why?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he doesn't have any grudges against Statham. Like, it's just business. They were trying to kill him.
Right. And it didn't work. So it's like, well, yeah, I would expect this dude to come running back and beat the shit out of everybody.
Right,
Like,
and it's sort
we
of
tried
like
to blow him up and we missed.
he has no grudges. It's not like he killed like the bad guy's brother and he's like, I
No.
want to torture him. It's like, no, just shoot him, just kill him.
Yeah, just what are we doing here? No, I want him to see the extent of his failure. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Why? You just met this guy yesterday. Why are you suddenly his
movie-
Lex Luthor?
Yeah, yeah. Statham rides a bus, and I just have to note that when the bus pulls in, no one's driving it.
Same
bus
person that was
pulls
driving the
in.
tow truck earlier.
Yeah, the bus pulls in, and then he gets in the bus, and there's just no driver. I love this movie. I can't stress that enough.
Incredible film.
I love how little this movie gives a shit.
This movie should have been bigger than John Wick and
It should have been.
the Fast and Furious movies.
Because what's about to happen is that he's going to have a grease fight, and it is the best thing I've seen.
It is it's the best thing I have ever seen.
Yeah.
They
He just
grease
bust
Statham
thugs.
up. He gets shirtless and greased up. He puts little bicycle buckles, little bicycle pedals on his feet, so that he doesn't slip in the grease, and then just uses those to fucking kick the shit out of everybody.
At some point, because it's before the grease fight, he loses his shirt. And there's a part where they're all just trying to get him, and he's running around like a kid refusing bedtime. Like, it's just him just running, and they're like, get him. And then he gets greased up, and the bad guy's like, shit,
Now
he's
he's all greased up.
And no one can get it. They
Yeah.
keep slipping. It's adorable.
Right. It's like, it's like a county fair game.
Yeah. And then he gets the bicycle spokes, and then it's like, it's awesome. Again, this is awesome.
It rules. Yeah, it's so cool.
And it's the start again of like, I think this was the scene when I watched the movie that it was like, this is new action, because it was dumb, but
But executed.
It was like,
yeah.
it was justified by its own awesomeness, where it was like, what if he gets greased up and they fight on grease? And it's like, that's so silly. And I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah.
And then he steals a plane.
He outruns the plane.
Yeah, he does. And then he skydives. And then they have a big sequence with trucks. And I want to note that they have this big, loud truck chase with crashes. And then the bad guy catches him. And he's like, all right, now to take you to a quiet place to shoot you. And it's another case of like,
Just shoot him now.
Yeah,
Just shoot him now.
I'm pretty sure if the cops were here, they'd be here already. Like, what are you scared of, making a gunshot noise? You have multiple semis crashing here. You're fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's gonna get covered up. Earlier, when he jumps out of the building and has to suck the air out of a dead guy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to call that out.
Yeah, he does. He
Suck the air right out of a dead guy.
sucks off a dead guy, takes his fucking last breath from him.
Awesome.
Yeah, he steals it. I also have to note at the end, they just don't arrest him. All the cops are like, yeah,
Yeah, he's the coolest.
yeah. And like again, not only from like he took the chief of police hostage.
He sure did.
and is possibly a cop killer. That's what it is how nihilistically awesome this movie is. How little it gave a shit about basic logic. It was like almost refreshing at the time.
It was the correct approach, right? Because we're still talking about this movie.
Right.
Like
and you're
they got
talking
it
about
right.
Yeah, you compare it to John Wick, and that's what John Wick is, right?
Yes.
Is John Wick, they go around paying with coins, and you're like, what the fuck are those coins? And they're like, fuck, why do you care? Wait, it doesn't matter.
They killed his dog, and now he's out
Yeah.
for revenge.
They'll like get in a gunfight in the middle of the street, and no one will react.
Yeah.
And it's just like, do you care? Do you really care? Are you here for the logic? And it's like, no, you're right, I'm not.
He has a mini kick fight, several with Lizard Man, and the final one is they do the Indiana Jones truck fight scene where they keep getting tossed out of the windshield and climbing back up into the truck, and then finally they have their final Kicksman showdown in the truck's cab, and Statham gets some kind of like leg lock on him and hits him with this. They share like a meaningful look, and then Statham just kind of like flicks his legs somehow and throws Lizard Man out of the truck onto the highway. I have no idea how he did it. He's just that good.
Yeah.
He scissor kicks him out of the truck, Dave.
It's so good. It really is ultimately what if Seagal was good. That's what it is. Because I would argue, I guess Van Damme movies are also this level of dumb, but it was just like reviving the very stupid action with or action plots with modern action.
Yeah, I would say like Van Damme is a better, because Seagal is both stupid and poorly executed.
Yes. But like I just meant plot wise.
For sure.
Where it's like, I think that's what, and again, like Crank would come out soon in a few years and also like escalate this idea of Statham is making 80s action. I think that's what it is I think what made this, because you look at, we're covering Collateral Damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Schwarzenegger is kind of on his way out at this point.
Yeah.
And he's a little old. I mean, he can still,
right.
we're in an era where, he's in better shape than me now. But like, it was sort of that realization of like, oh shit, here's the new guy. We have a new dumb action hero, and it's of the 2000s. It's updated, but it's still stupid.
I'm trying to think of other examples of movies like this, because this was very much the vibe of like the mid-aughts.
Yeah. For me, like, it was this, and then Crank was like fully
this
realized.
Crank, man. I feel like there's obvious examples I'm forgetting.
Crank started getting meta, where it was like, where like, it was like, we're ironically doing this. There was still an underlying problem that I'm sure like young people will definitely notice. But even at the time, I remember literally saying of Crank that women are at best objects in that movie.
Yeah.
And like this, it applies to this too.
Oh yeah.
Where
that was another part of this tone of action films, is that they're all this lady in this movie, where they're just dolls basically.
Yeah. And it is like really, it's cringy. And so that's why I respond more to Crank, a movie that like feels like it's doing it ironically more.
And Crank is so firmly in the gutter.
Exactly. Where it's like, Crank is out of its mind. Where this is still trying to be a little mainstream. So it's like, it's almost more quaint after the fact as looking at it like an 80s movie.
Yeah, I think this is more, actually, we've been talking as though this was like a new trend, and that's I feel like that the more that we've been talking about it, I feel like that was more like sort of true, and it was more like this was sort of like the transition between the old style of like 80s early mid 90s action into what kind of modern action would start to be with like the Raid and stuff in the 2010s. So we get like this weird sort of mishmash of like the digital sheen with action, like the Transporter and like the Gonzo stuff from Luc Besson's movies that he was writing during this time. Like Columbiana is another one.
Yeah, and it's I think this also has to do with our age. I think that young people can look back at this and laugh at it the way we laugh at some 80s movies, where like Van Damme, Schwarzenegger, I never really watched whatever the third one was.
Stallone?
Oh, I guess Stallone I watched a little. I watched his Higher Concept. No, I was thinking of Seagal.
Seagal?
I was never into Seagal. As a kid, I was like, this guy sucks.
But that's why you watch it.
Well, that's the thing. I guess what I mean is, as a kid,
right,
I watched a lot of these movies, but I was a kid, so it has a different place. Where the Transporter is like, I'm 20 now, and this is hyper focused on me. Where the way those Van Damme movies, Schwarzenegger movies were for probably like 20-year-olds in the 80s. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like when I was a kid, I loved those movies, but those movies are also like, and tits. And as a kid, I'm like,
yep.
I'm like, I'm not into tits yet.
Tits and like, tank tops.
Yeah. So it's like they're hyper focused Like most of America is hyper-focused for 20-year-old white guys, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's all to say that The Transporter was the first time I was like 20, and it was like, we're doing this dumb action movie, and it's you are exactly the person we're making it for.
Yeah, it's stuff like, I mean, we mentioned it earlier, but like Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Stuff like the stuff Mark Wahlberg was doing, like The Italian Job.
Right, and this is like you said, bringing it into that era of like 80s action sensibilities, but 80s action, that era of stars had died out, and this was like we're back.
Also, the pace is different. Vin Diesel, the Triple X movies, exactly.
Exactly.
Fuck,
yeah. The Triple X I loved at this time, and it's not like we didn't know they were stupid when they were coming out, but the action had been updated in a way that you like we were enjoying the action, and now John Wick.
Yeah.
Which is weird because John Wick is Keanu Reeves, so it's like we've come full circle there.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
redefines
just nice.
action twice in his lifetime.
Right, and
arguably
I guess
3 times with Point Break, but you can't.
Right.
You can't. And he was involved in it 3 times in his life.
And it's weird that I can't think of a new young guy who's like, I'm the new Statham. You know. It's all old guys.
Kinda.
Yeah,
action just doesn't seem to be really, outside of like superhero movies right now. It just doesn't really seem to be the thing at the moment.
No, but it's sort of these iterations where every single one.
It's all old guys. You're right. Sorry.
Right. No, it's just the iteration where every single wave of this is a little ironic compared to the last, and then you look back on it and you're like, well, this is just dated now.
Right. Yeah. We're sitting through a lot of death wishes without realizing it. Like we're watching a lot of aging Bronsons here.
Right. Because but like looking back at this, it's like at the time I remember it feeling ironic, like it knew it was silly.
Yeah. It was tongue in cheek.
Right.
Without being completely meta.
Right, and now watching it again, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize how silly it was, though, because things like the music is very stupid. Things like how dumb he is as a character, I don't think they were aware of fully. The sex prize stuff, like it's all stuff where you're like, this is even campier than I think they realize.
It's such a trope of the time, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a really interesting movie to me because it is so cheesy in the way that a lot of bad 2000s action was, but it's also really, really fun. And the action's really well staged and executed.
No, it's the action stands the test of time.
Yeah.
The action, I think, will still be good 50 years from now.
I don't doubt it.
The plot is indefensible.
Oh, no. Yeah, that'll just be, it's incidental, let's be honest.
Right. But that's what it is that it's of its time, it's cheesy, it's problematic, but like action itself, and that's probably why old action doesn't tend to die, right? As you go back and watch a Jackie Chan movie from the 80s, the action will stand out. It will never not be impressive.
Right, okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, so this is like a transition between Drunken Master, The Tuxedo.
Yeah.
And
The Tuxedo.
I was going to say The Raid, but he's not in The Raid. But anyway, we're
not quite at The Raid.
It's a transition from Drunken Master to The Tuxedo to not quite The Raid, but
yeah.
Anyway,
I maintain that good action when done practically in camera, specifically martial arts, will simply never go bad.
No, it's like
just the plots around them.
Choreography.
Yeah, it's dancing.
It's like dance. It's like impressive, any kind of impressive routine. Yeah.
Yeah, and it can get better, but it's also like it has its errors because like you go back and watch Singing in the Rain, and you're like, damn, we're not doing this anymore, right? Like there is some errors where
choreography's still cool though, and it's dated,
it is cool.
but but I get what you're saying.
No, I'm saying it's better. Singing in the Rain is better.
Oh.
Because they threw human misery at it. Like, we're not going to do Fred Astaire fucking getting it perfectly right and they're spending a day. Same with Jackie Chan, right? Is like, we're not getting that thing where they'll spend a week on a single stunt.
Yeah, that's true.
Or that Jackie
John
Chan
Wick,
will sign a bunch of papers and then like jump on a train and they're like, well, if he dies, he dies. Like, there's good reasons why, but like, generally speaking, good action will still never, John Wick and The Transporter, the action scenes of both are just as enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I think
it's like, slashers from the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Similar thing
gore,
where the plots are ridiculous, but if the gore and kills are well done, then we figured out how to chop off someone's head, and we're like, okay, we can do that now. Do that, yeah. We got this covered.
Computers can make it easier, and like John Wick, there's they'll do like camera shots that you couldn't do in the 80s and stuff like that. Like, there are improvements.
Of course,
CGI has added, wire stuff. But like, generally speaking, a dude doing a backflip is awesome in any era.
Yeah, it's just cool.
Yeah.
A guy doing little kicks.
Yeah, a little freak, a little greased up freak.
Somehow having a little kick fight on his back with another guy and then scissor kicking him out onto the highway. Incredible.
Yeah, incredible. Transporter.
The Transporter. Transporter.
Yep. He's so bad. He's so bad at transporting.
Awful at his job.
Get a new job. I think that's it, right?
I think we're done. We can be done.
Thank you to Andrew Maguire.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I always love a reason to watch The Transporter.
Kind of anything to revisit this period now, because it's not a period that I rewatch a lot.
Yeah, I hate
I hate
watching this era. Well, because it reminds me that I'm old. Because it's now the 80s.
Yep, that's true.
And it feels like the 80s. Like, watching this movie that I remember at a time in my life going,
fresh.
This is the future.
Yeah,
and now it looks old.
It looks like embarrassingly old in some spots.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you, Andrew Maguire.
But thank you. Thank you for this just unblinking showdown with our own mortality.
Exactly. This was through our Patreon. If people are curious, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. There is a tier where you can have custom We Just Watched episodes. We Just Watched being a show we do where we watch stuff. So you can go on there and you can have us watch anything you want within reason.
Like The Transporter.
Exactly. Preferably something we haven't covered before. We have now covered like 600 movies. So
it's a lot.
It's a lot. And there's also exclusive podcasts on there for $5 a month. You get access to Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek: The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys. Those all sound exactly. They're all exactly what they sound like. But we also have Him Booze, which is about Supernatural. And that is brand new. We're diving into the Supernatural series for a new generation of spook 'em ups.
It's very exciting.
So check that out. Yeah. And we watch movies every Friday night. The Transporter definitely being one of those movies.
It's absolutely been watched, yeah.
Yeah.
We also have a store over at gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store where we have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs. You can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So check that out. Rate and review our podcasts on your free feeds. Check out our new show, Badical, Badical.
Yes.
And that's it. Bye.
That's all there is.
Let's transport ourselves the hell out of here.
Hell yeah. Hey, listen, our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can find him on twitter.com as the Corlew or go to shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Our episode artwork is by Justin Brown, available on Twitter as Justin T. Brown or at Artness by JustinBrown.com. And finally, additional artwork is by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at StarleneArts.com or on Twitter as StarleneX. Cool. Goodbye.